Hello? Hello, hello? Hello, hello, my dear friends. All the beautiful Jewish, gay, Nazi, Satanists, and all those who value democracy, freedom, and humanity. Everyone who makes the poor dictatorship-loving Muscovites shiver and scream. Because before a Russian invader goes to hell, this is the face that he sees before his death, because this is the face of the Russian death. The Western rider of the apocalypse, bringing the filthy, Orthodox Russian world to its inevitable demise. I'm really happy to see you here, and even though I cannot really see the chat... Oh, yeah, I really do. Conchita, I'm sorry. I'm really happy to see you here, and tonight I would like to talk about the 3 simple facts explaining why terror Russia sucks balls in Ukraine, and no matter what the Russian propagandists and terrorists are saying in their media, but those facts are simply undeniable, because because you cannot deny obvious things. Yeah, I had fun as well. Russia's invasion of Ukraine, as you probably know, after 628 days already, has not gone according to the plan. Despite the Russia's initial military superiority, Russia has made only meager gains in Ukraine and has suffered significant losses, failing to capture any of the key cities of Ukraine. And this is something that I would like to talk about, because this is the first fact explaining why Russia sucks balls in Ukraine. There are 22 oblasts in Ukraine currently controlled by the government, by the army, and also there are 3 regions that were captured and kept by the hybrid Russian army. What, only 3? Only 3? Yeah, only 3 that were captured and kept under control of the Russian hybrid army in 2014. And I'm talking about the piece of the Donetsk, piece of the Luhansk oblasts, and Crimea. So besides that, in 2022, before the Russians invaded, we had 22 regions under control and 22 major cities of Ukraine, and we still have them. Like, you know, yesterday after I published my update, I noticed in the comments people were like, what do you mean? Like, you are a liar. You are a liar. They captured major cities. Like Bakhmut is a pretty big city. Or like Mariupol, isn't it a major city? There's something I have to explain, okay? And in order to do that, I will use the magic of... let's talk about sex tunnels a bit later. I will use the magic of internet. And let's check this out. How to explain you the topic of the major cities in Ukraine. So here you can see Ukraine, right? And you can see cities like Lviv, Kyiv, Vinnytsia, Dnipro, Kharkiv. They're big. They're really, really big. Who knows what is the major city of Pennsylvania state? Let's check this out, okay? So here we have the United States. Here we have... there's so many states. Here we have Pennsylvania, right? So how do you think, what is the major city of Pennsylvania? I believe that it must be Reading, isn't it like it's big? It's a big city. No? Maybe like Hershey. No? Why? Why? I mean, like, look, Campbelltown. It's a tremendous city. It's a megapolis. Like, guys, like, I'm not gonna insult people living in this beautiful city, but I mean the scale. So this one, Hershey, okay, according to the scale that I can see on my screen, it's exactly the size of Bakhmut, because Bakhmut is 7 kilometers across, approximately 4 or 5 miles. It's exactly the size of Bakhmut. Okay, tell me, what is the major city of, let's say, Munich Oblast, okay? Munich Oblast. What is the major city of the Munich Oblast? I believe that it's, how can you say this? Vilsbiburg. I'm sure it's Vilsbiburg. It's like, look, it's a city, right? It's big. There's like thousands of people, right? No, I believe that the major city of the Munich Oblast is Munich, right? So here in Ukraine we have 22 major cities controlling 22 major oblasts, regions of the Europe's second largest country. And guys, for example, the key city of Khmelnytsky Oblast is Khmelnytsky. The key city of Vinnytsia Oblast is Vinnytsia. It's not Lytyn, it's and of course it's not Kulyga, it's freaking Vinnytsia. And when we're talking about the major city in Odessa, it's like you have only one try, okay? Only one guess. How do you think? So I think you understand my point. Now, how do you think, can you consider the Russian invasion of Ukraine successful if they captured 0 major cities in 2 years? So that's the answer. And yesterday I had big fan reading comments from like Russian bots in the commentaries, not really Russian bots, not really bots, but it was hilarious. And like, okay, I will show you this one, even though it's like it's not a degenerate of the day, okay, but this person reminds me of, you know, like, oh my god, I destroyed everything. Come on, switch, you bastard. What are you doing, Conchita? Get out of here. Here. So Melitopol is a top 10 Ukrainian cities, though. He should tell the whole truth, because fellow Ukrainians know this. Melitopol, guys. Okay, let me show you once again where Melitopol is. Oh my god, it was like... he also said that Melitopol is like one of the biggest ports in Ukraine, right? One of the biggest ports. Like, this freaking killed me almost. Come on, let's share the screen. Guys, it was amazing. All right, so here we have Melitopol. Why don't you work, bastard? Here we have Melitopol. Where do we have Melitopol? Here, just a second. In just a second, I will show you Melitopol. All right, here it is. So, this in Zaporizhia Oblast, this is Melitopol. Damn, I lost this comment when this person says mentions like second Ukraine's biggest port. Okay, let's find a port in Melitopol, because I want to know where the hell is the port in Melitopol, like, you know, like the docks and stuff. Let's see, that's a forest, that's a railway, this is like in airfields. Why the hell why I cannot see like port? Maybe they have like, you know, aerial port for like Zeppelins. No, guys, they don't have a port in Melitopol, apparently. And the reason they don't have a port in Melitopol is because Melitopol is located in the middle of Ukraine. It's not on the seashore. And the reason why this person mentioned Melitopol and said that it had like half a million, yeah, near the Lviv subway, 100%. Half a million population and shit like that was because this individual obviously took Melitopol for Mariupol. It's a different story. And yes, of course, Mariupol is a big city in Ukraine with the population approximately 1/6 of Kiev, like 1/7 of Kiev. I don't really know. But yeah, it's a big city, 10 kilometers across. And yeah, they have a port here. Yeah, but the problem is there is no Mariupol Oblast in Ukraine. There is Donetsk Oblast, and actually Mariupol belongs to the Donetsk Oblast. It's not a major city. Same with Bakhmut, by the way, because if we take a closer look at Bakhmut, we will see something incredible. Why don't you want to load properly? Okay, Kramatorsk and come on, work, you bastard. Oh, goodness gracious, I cannot work like that. So here you can see Bakhmut, which is approximately 7 kilometers across, is like the biggest city in the world. So you can see you see that western outskirt of Bakhmut, right? Berlin is there, like a few kilometers away. Berlin and Washington, D.C. This is what Russians believe. In reality, Bakhmut is approximately the size of this piece of Kiev. You see that on the right side of the screen. Yeah, it's not big, and it's not major. And there are currently 22 controlled major cities in Ukraine, and Russia captured 0. So this is the first reason. I swear, guys, I had like tremendous fun yesterday reading those commentaries, and another thing was that better connection to Starsky. What happened to my connection? I hope it's all right. Yesterday, because Russians realized that their legendary Russian world is being completely obliterated in my videos, they started sending bots, and I had tremendous pleasure reading them yesterday, but we will talk about it a bit later. So another thing I wanted to mention is Russia faced significant losses in the territories that were previously occupied by the terrorist troops. And what do I mean by that? So let's check out this map, all right? You can see all those like red territories and the green territories. So initially those green territories were also red territories, but they were liberated eventually. They were captured by Russians early in the invasion, like within a month, and Russians expected a very, very fast, victorious campaign in Ukraine, and they failed because they miscalculated big time. You cannot take Kiev having only like 100,000 men. They even had less, actually. And currently Russians are controlling 74,000 square kilometers. Before that, they were controlling more than 100,000 square kilometers. As you can see, almost half of that area was liberated by the Ukrainian defenders in approximately half a year. My God. Yeah, like yesterday, I literally wanted to freaking laugh and cry at the same time when you know, when I was reading those orcs saying like Bakhmut. Yeah, of course they took Bakhmut, but they gave up the whole Kiev Oblast. They took Mariupol, but they gave up Chernihiv and Sumy and Kharkiv, and eventually Kherson. And by the way, Kherson was the only major city, again, controlled by Russians for approximately half a year. And because Russians lacked troops to control this whole territory, and at the same time perform their advances and defensive operations as well, they had to give up Kherson to the Ukrainian defenders and run away, because they wanted to take Bakhmut, a city 7 kilometers across. This is all you need to know about the Russian planning, victorious Russian war. So here we can see basically on this map Russians losing territories, controlling 0 major cities since 2022. Like the whole Russian army wasn't able to take a single major city in Ukraine. Mariupol, as we all understand, is not a major city. Donetsk region can live without Mariupol, but Mariupol cannot live without Donetsk region. Like those are different things. Ukrainian defenders recaptured 5 regions. Is there any news on how it's going on the Dnipro? There are news, but they are not for sharing. Sharon, sorry, maybe later. Is this true that Russians have built an underground impenetrable joke factory? It is true, my friend, and I know for sure that this factory is connected to some of the sex tunnels in Ukraine. I'm not sure where is the entrance, but yeah. Bakhmut. Fact number 3, increasing international support, guys. And again, it's very important to know, because back in spring 2022, Russians were saying the world will forget about Ukraine. The world will get tired of Ukraine in a month. So later we saw vehicles coming to Ukraine. Later we saw HIMARS systems coming to Ukraine. Later we saw M777s coming to Ukraine, and all kinds of self-propelled howitzers from our partner countries. Later we saw Abrams tanks coming to Ukraine together with Leopard tanks. And even later we saw Ukrainian pilots training to operate F-16 jet fighters. And guys, this support will increase. It will keep coming to Ukraine, because the world is fed up with Russians. Russians are trying to convince you that no, everybody is so tired of Ukraine. But guys, people who manage your countries, your governments, your presidents, they realize that their future is being how do you say it? Your future is being currently protected, defended in Ukraine. And without that, they realize that they will have to send young men to the war. Nobody wants to do that. That's why they realize that it's better to send money and weapons and equipment to Ukraine and help Ukraine protect the West. This international support will keep increasing. It will keep coming to Ukraine, no matter what the Russian trolls, the Russian propagandists are saying. Like, it is decided. Okay, it is decided, and more than 40 countries pledged to help Ukraine win this war. So we will see this support, all this aid, only increasing over time. As for the Russians, with their incredible, powerful allies, like North Korea, for example, we will see them, like, North Korea, can you imagine, like, would you be proud having North Korea as your closest strategic ally? It's so ridiculous, so it's not even funny, because I'm not laughing, and I'm laughing all the time. What was the question? Abrams tanks crews are being trained in sex tunnels. Yeah, apparently. No one in Denmark is tired of Ukraine. It's an absurd notion, coming from Lisbeth. Absolutely. Guys, this is just an informational warfare, the one that I was talking about in one of my previous streams. They're trying to convince you, they're trying to delude you, but nothing will work. And again, another reason why all the Russian terrorism supporters on the West and in the Europe, why they fail, why they suck balls so much comparing to you guys, is because they are passive. They find it convenient to sit on the sofa and nag about the growing prices and curse Ukrainians who just refuse to die, to finally die, and stop tiring them, exhausting them because of this war that happens in a different corner of the world. They are so passive and they cannot protect their ideas. Currently, the world is the division in this world is very simple. There are people who realize that you should protect the law, you should protect the international legislation, you should protect democracy and freedom. You should not let maniacs attack other countries like in the freaking medieval times. You should not let them threaten everybody with nuclear weapons like freaking terrorists. And you should support people who require your help. And those people, who realize all this, they are ready to fight for their ideas. Supporters of the Russian terrorism, if you don't pay them, they will never go on a protest. That's all. That's what I saw, and basically this is the mentality. They are trained to be like that, because if they start going on protests, Moscow will have problems. Okay? So, fact number 3 is increasing international support. Something very important, and I'm saying it's increasing. Of course, Russian propagandists are gonna make you think that no, it's declining and yada yada. But yeah, Ville says there's zero Russian propaganda in the Finnish media. Yeah, it's cool. Same in Ukraine, by the way. So one interesting fact that I saw, that I noticed several days ago, is that Russian trolls keep copy-pasting this fake about like Ukrainian government, Jewish Nazi President Zelensky banning independent media in Ukraine. Actually, he banned a bunch of pro-Russian sources funded by Kremlin, which is obvious because we're fighting against Russian invaders. In Ukraine, we have tons of independent media not state-funded, because the Russians specifically say that there's only one state-funded media that is allowed to speak, to to function. Are you serious? Like, I can show you the Ukrainian media, and actually I'm gonna do it right now, functioning in Ukraine, and there's like probably hundreds of them, because it's true. Where is it? Switch. Yeah, share my screen. I want to share my screen. I removed all the home videos, so it's safe to share my screen. All right. Let's see. Where is it? Not like that. Like this. Yeah. Oh my God. Why is it upside down? Everything is. Oh my God. Everything is falling to pieces. I was not preparing to this. Yeah. So, for example, here we can see. Let's say news, новини, right? Новини. Let's search Google for новини. And here we have European Truth, military portal, Українська Правда. On the Ukrnet, and Ukrnet is one of the sources that concentrates all the news in Ukraine. You can see all kinds of independent media, correspondent, Ukrinform, Вечірній Київ, TSN, what they have, Union. Those are not state-funded media. UNN, the news agency, Radio Svoboda, Radio Freedom, Censor. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Glavcom, Zahidnet, Interfax, and many other portals, news agencies, you name it. Why am I showing you all this? Because Russians are, and not only Russians, but those degenerates supporting Russians on the West, they're all convinced that Ukraine has completely banned the independent media, and there's only one state channel speaking to public. Like, everything can be disproved right here. You see yourself. Yes, because they're stupid. All right. What else did I want to mention today? Oh, do you want to see those commentaries? They are insane, guys. They are completely insane. For example, this one. Oh, this is my favorite one. This one was on my Twitter. So this degenerate says, "Surrender, surrender, operator. Surrender will not be pleasant. And if you keep posting more bullshit, the surrender will be even less pleasant." Oh, like, I laughed my ass off when I saw that one. I swear. Like, why do we have to surrender if Russia is losing? But again, you will see more of that. You will see more calls to negotiate, to like give up and whatever. The closer Russia is to its inevitable demise, the more of that shit you will see on the internet. Or this one, for example. USA and so-called NATO have deceived you into war with Russia, then dumped you. Yeah, NATO somehow forced Russians to cross the Ukrainian border on tanks and strike people with missiles and shells, and then they dumped us. Like, anyone else sick of the brainless slurry of Ukrainian propaganda produced by Western media outlets and small content creators who don't really understand the war, says person wearing Napoleon's hat. I think, yeah, apparently this dude like knows a lot about the war, unlike me, 8 years in the military. Anyways, guys, I don't care. It's just funny. Oh, this one is amazing. Somehow I get the feeling that you're not very fond of Russians. How the hell did you even come to this conclusion? Do you really think that I'm not fond of Russians? Why? I'm not fond of Russians. I guess, this person has this absolutely relaxed, laid-back style of life, okay? And he's like watching his like news, like MTV maybe, or like some soap operas and whatever. And then there's like war in Ukraine, and he's like, they're fighting. They should just stop shooting each other, And then he sees my channel and he goes like, I'm not sure, but I think that you are not fond of Russians. Something tells me. Your intuition is incredible. And then there's this one. Oh, this one is beautiful. Meanwhile, every resident outside of Kiev has no electricity or Wi-Fi. Every resident outside of Kiev has no electricity or Wi-Fi. I don't know how to comment on this, because this person who thinks that, I'm not sure if it's he or she, let's call this person it. I'm sure it is convinced that it is an expert on Ukraine, right? No electricity or Wi-Fi. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. For the same reason, they are convinced that Russians are winning in Ukraine. For this very reason. Sometimes, sometimes it's so cool to read that, because like my life would be too boring without all that shit. Like without all the extreme and adventures and stupid degenerates supporting Russian terrorists and all that. Imagine having a Chunga Bungo as a screen name. No way. No way. Not after this one. Surprised this one didn't mention toilets. Of course, because like all the toilets were already stolen by the Russian invaders outside of Kiev. In Kiev, we still have a bunch of them. Okay, guys, let's talk a bit about my favorite topic, the Russian losses in Ukraine. Here we can see 800 toasted Russian invaders that became good in the past day, yesterday basically. And I remember that only like, what day is it today? It's Monday 13th. No wonder. Monday 13th. 13th. On a Halloween, basically 2 weeks ago, we crossed the psychological mark of 300,000 toasted Russian orcs. And here we can see like 312,000. So, and again, Russians will be like, you are lying. You are lying because it's impossible. Even Prigozhin said that they were losing 1,000, sometimes more than 1,000 orcs a day because Russians suck in Ukraine. So, like, I completely believe those numbers. So the only thing that helps Russians to cope, right? The only thing is this beautiful lie that Ukrainians are losing like millions of people every single day defending their positions, okay? Because like when you hear degenerates like Scott Pedophile Ritter, pedophile is his nickname, he says that Ukrainians are losing in defense. Ukrainians are losing 6 men versus 1 Russian. Because he's such a military expert, okay, who believes that in defense you lose more people than in advance, like this is the only thing that keeps Russians running. Ukrainian artillery also keeps Russians running away, but it's something that keeps their morale. They believe that Ukraine is losing like millions of people like every year due to the superior Russian weaponry. So if you trust Russian numbers, again, according to my calculations, we already lost like several million people, dead and wounded, and basically like every 10th citizen of Ukraine is either dead or wounded. Every 10th citizen of Ukraine, according to Russian propaganda. So you probably want to know about the real number of Ukrainian losses, right? Because we don't make this information public for security reasons, because we don't know Russians to find about it. And basically Russians are doing the same. But unlike us, Russians are bullshitting everybody with the numbers that don't exist. So President Zelensky said that the losses of Ukrainian army are approximately either 5 or 6 times, I believe he said 5 times less than, or 6. 5 or 6. Oh my God, how could I forget it? This is incompetence. I've lost it. Holy duck, how could I do that? Anyways, I believe he said 5 times smaller than in the Russian army. And again, according to my calculations, my sources, it looks like that. The difference is, oh, Miroslav Burtovy here, hi bro, hi Mirko. The difference is Ukrainian army has a comparatively bigger number of wounded personnel than Russians. Because Russian combat medicine sucks balls, they have less wounded. Because in case of the Russian army, there's approximately 1 dead versus 2 or 3 wounded. In case of Ukraine, it's 1 dead versus 7, 8 wounded. But the numbers look like approximately like that. Of course, Russians will keep believing, because, like, you know, they like to be like fooled and live in the dictatorship and whatever, and be tortured. Like, you know, everybody has his own joys, but they will keep believing in this lie, which like doesn't exist, doesn't change anything at all. And it doesn't change the fact that Ukraine keeps advancing, keeps steadily, slowly, but returning its territories. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of trolls expected tonight, because trolls are like, they're like a seal of quality of a given channel, because if you don't have trolls, it means that your channel is not important. Russian Federation is a failed startup. It didn't even start properly. But again, do you remember the so-called Bush's legs? No? Oh my God. There was a freaking famine in Russia in the 90s. In the 90s, because Russian government sucked, because the oligarchs stole all the money and shit like that, they had this default, they had crisis, and they had almost like famine in Russia. Okay, the situation was really, really hard for the Russian citizens. That's why evil West, represented by the United States of America, decided to save those poor fucks and destitutes and brought them cheap chicken legs. And Russians eating those legs, they were cursing Americans, and basically they called those chicken legs the Bush's legs, legs of Bush. And this is how they still remember that. But again, this is something they don't really want to remember. This the moment when the US saved Russian citizens from the hungry death. Okay, so let's return to our statistics. 800 men a day, which makes it approximately 3 battalions, almost 3 battalions. In terms of vehicles, I think nothing really impressive. But again, guys, I saw this stuff happening several days ago. Probably there was a big combat that our general staff cannot talk much right now, and we will see some updated details tomorrow. Here we have some absolutely, I would not call this video cringy, because this is a beautiful video, because it shows the як буде торжество? Курва, забув, як це називається англійською. Трясся. Anyways, so the life and living and I'm trying to come up with some sentence, but it works as if I'm like a random word generator. Anyway, see yourself, this soldier survived. Here we can see Russian soldier running away in Kupiansk. Actually, he's not running away from the Ukrainian troops. He's running towards Ukrainian troops because he wants to leave. And this is why I think this video is so perfect, so beautiful. You can see that this soldier wasn't murdered, he wasn't castrated like Russians like to do, he wasn't decapitated. No, he was literally brought to the Ukrainian position. He was stripped out of his weapons and equipment, everything that can be dangerous, and he was given food and shelter. Of course, he was interrogated and sent to the Ukrainian prison, where I believe he will gain several kilograms or pounds, because even food in the Ukrainian prisons is so damn good. And another news, another update that I find very interesting is this one. So Ukrainian and anti-air systems book. Basically, it's the similar one was used by Russians to shut down to shoot down the MH17 Boeing over the Donbass in 2014. This one is Ukrainian. You can see the Ukrainian camo on it. And what is cool about the books, it's just, you know, the picture for reference, okay? It's not the actual one. But these systems are now being equipped with Western anti-air missiles. So specialists found a way, because Russia is the only country producing. Zolkin will have a chat with that running guy. Absolutely, because this running guy will survive. So, because Russia is the only country currently producing missiles for those anti-air systems, and of course Ukraine cannot buy those from Russia because Russians are invading Ukraine. So specialists found a way to arm those anti-air systems with Western missiles, surface-to-air missiles. And I think it's amazing, of course, because we rely on the Western aid, the Western support, and we're using Western weaponry big time, and we will be using Western missiles as well to protect our sky. So, I think it's amazing. Oh, and also we found some really cool video today. Apparently, Western experts found it absolutely incredible and amazing that the Ukrainian pilots spent so little time and mastered piloting F-16s, which is amazing. I think because Ukrainians are known for being very. Damn it, I keep forgetting the words. Conchita, what's the word for майстерний, невибагливий? Anyway, she doesn't know. So they learn fast, and the reason they learn fast is because our life depends on it. Basically, you open YouTube, and using YouTube you learn how to operate a Javelin or M777 or I'm exaggerating a bit, but still. And yeah, and Ukrainian pilots did very well. So recently we found a video showing them in Romania flying F-16s. Adaptable. Charlie, thank you so much. Oh my God. I completely lost the word. So you can see those F-16s operated by the Ukrainian pilots in Romania. I believe that it probably was their first flight or something like that. Let's see it once again. Yeah, this is Romanian air base, and the guys in those birds are Ukrainian pilots. So hopefully we will see them in winter already here in Ukraine, and yeah, it will be really helpful. I'm not a pilot, I'm not a real pilot, I'm a virtual pilot, but from the standpoint of former infantry, I can tell you that combat air support is crucial. And everyone saying that, Ukrainian counteroffensive is slow, failing. Guys, currently Ukrainian army is facing a challenge and performs a task that any other NATO army would just reject, and we are doing it without air superiority, crawling through minefields, without proper vehicle support and things like that. And we're slowly and steadily pushing the orcs out of Ukraine. All right, I believe that we can talk a bit with you guys. I will answer some questions and show off my snail. Yeah, guys, the snail theory was not my theory. It was a theory that was sent to me in the email by one of my viewers. You gotta Google it. You gotta Google it because it's amazing. Why is Russia no longer threatened with nukes? I'm wondering. King of S. I think they did. I think they did, and basically you can consider their recent videos showing their trainings, their exercise, their test launches of their nuclear carrying missiles as such a threat. The sex tunnel update, still searching for it, unfortunately. Say Russia sucks balls. Russia sucks balls! Do you know anything about Nord Stream 2? I don't know how to read this. That's so awesome. I bet they love that plane. Yeah, they do. Absolutely. Hi from Argentina. Oh my God, people are watching us in Argentina. Can you believe this? I mean, it's like completely different part of the world, but people still watching and supporting Ukraine. They are proactive in learning the F-16. They are adaptable. That's the word. Have you heard that Russian FSB got tired of Kadyrov and are trying to get to him and his minions? I think it's inevitable, one way or another, because you know the closer we are to the Russian collapse, the more those window accidents we will see. You know, like Russian top management, their politicians and warlords being sucked into windows and things like that. We'll see a lot of that. Mark my words. Paulo, from Brazil too, sorry for the dumb president. It's okay, Paulo, everything's okay. We completely understand that, you know, there are people, then there are people. Ukrainian offensive is slow because some Nobel laureate decided to attack where Russian defenses are strongest. It makes me sad without end. Rose, it's not because we are attacking where the Russian defenses are strongest. It's because we're attacking without proper support. What else? Lars says, no nuke threats, they do that only every 2 months. Schedule never fails. Yeah. Merch, we need a fudge dog. He is a star. I know he's a star, Duncan. He is, I admit. I believe that if it goes like this, I will have to just rename my channel to Operator Fudge. And he will have more views than me. Are you going to get a snail tattoo next? Oh my God, level 70, that's a good idea. Actually, yeah, I gotta consider doing that. What says, I haven't met anyone who says counteroffensive is going badly besides internet trolls. Rest of people know war is war. Yeah, people understand this. Do you remember communism? Orwell. Oh my God, I wish I could forget it. Can you explain to the Western audience what effect dictatorship has on what you think versus what you say, please? Basically, you cannot really say what you think if there's a dictatorship. In communism, people would write like reports on their neighbors for saying jokes about the government, about the communist leaders. If you say a joke about a communist leader like Brezhnev or whatever, you are effed, you disappear. People are being, like, people were killed for that. So if you think that Soviet Union was something cool and awesome, remember Lee Harvey Oswald. He went to the USSR because he believed in all that, communist shit and propaganda, but he returned because he couldn't stand it. As a, like, technically American, right? He couldn't stand it. It was that bad. Can you imagine what Europe would look like if Hitler would have won in World War II? America would have been under attack at least 30 years ago. Absolutely, Greg, I agree with you. And you would just have to do what we are doing right now. I mean, hiding your kids in bomb shelters because orcs are motherfuckers. Okay, sex tunnels. Guys, we already talked about it. Oh, so this one says, I see in your eyes that you, the host, is a true Russian. Please don't insult me, okay? Because I'm not. Thank God, I'm not. Alrighty. Croatia was in the same situation as Ukraine today. Serbs attacked us, claiming that is all Serbian land because Serbs live in those areas and that Croats don't exist. Long story short, we won. Yeah, that's what happened. Rush, like, чистейший русский. Чистейший, чистокровный. Being Russian is an insult in the modern world because of people like you. Which is stupider, Russia orcs or Mordor orcs? Oh, that's a good question. I would say, like, they are not different much. They even look the same. Russia isn't communist anymore. It's anarcho-capitalist. Actually, anarchy was born in Ukraine, and it worked in Ukraine, like 100 years ago. We had this not like official state system, but among like smaller communities, we had like a lot of different villages, and it worked perfectly. Like people were able to manage, their settlements, manage their relations with their neighbors, and it worked. That's why traditionally here in Ukraine we don't really like we do recognize our authorities, but like deep inside we don't really like them because we're free people. All right. All I see in your eyes, the fires of like. Greetings from South Africa. Hello, hello. Communism is dead. I wish their carriers were also dead. How will you ever reconcile with the Ukrainians that supported Russia? Well, you can reconcile very easily with Ukrainians that support Russia if they just move to Russia. The most important thing is for them to like reconcile with themselves after Russia collapses and everybody realizes that they were doing despicable shit and Russians are atrocious and they're responsible for committing this genocide against Ukrainians. It will be the same situation as after the World War II, when the German population said, "We didn't know." It will be the same situation. But I respect Germans because they could change, because one way or another Germans are a European nation, just like us, just like me and you. Russians is a different story. Yes, I'm biased. Yes, I'm biased, guys. I'm biased about Russians because we're living next to them motherfuckers for centuries. First Russian invasion happened 1,000 years ago when the Fox decided to capture Kiev. Hi from Ireland. For what your country is going through, we have lots of Ukrainian refugees in Ireland. Jem O'Reilly, thank you so much, my friend. And I must say this, all the Ukrainian soldiers are highly appreciate that you guys are taking care of our wives, sons, daughters there in your country. It's something so important. You don't even realize how much important it is to us, knowing that our families are safe. Elon Musk says Ukraine should surrender and people should feel sorry for all the Russians who are dying in Ukraine. Oh, Elon. People like Elon and motherfuckers like him, they do realize that they will never come to Ukraine after all the shit they said. But small problem is that Ukrainians will come to the US after the war is finished. They will come to Europe because we will be able to travel freely and we will ask them a lot of questions. And then, my friends, I will have some fun. I will have a lot of fun. They are so brave only because we're not there yet. We have to bring our values, we have to share them, and I'm talking about values of democracy and freedom, and all that makes us Jewish, gay, Nazi, Satanists, and the most freedom-loving and democratic people in the world. Orcs are worse than Nazi because Russians are able to clearly see what is happening with internet. Yeah, absolutely, and they completely support that when they see Ukrainian people being shelled and bombed. they celebrate it in the social media. One reason for that is because Russian life is suffering. Life in Russia is suffering itself. That's why they like to see other people suffering more than them. Elon needs to get on board of one of his rockets and go to the moon. Michael, I think that he needs to go somewhere like further, like Mars or something. He was dreaming about Mars. I'll be happy to see him flying to the Mars. Why do you think that Elon Musk has supported Ukraine with Starlink for free in the beginning when he rather is pro-Russian? It's a question from Anonymous. The answer to this is very, very simple. Elon Musk was not supporting Ukraine for free because the Starlinks were delivered from Pentagon and the USAID, who bought those Starlinks from Elon Musk. And Elon Musk received money for those Starlinks. Guys, he never sent Starlinks to Ukraine for free. Never happened. Those Starlinks, because they included better traffic plans and stuff like that, faster connection, they were purchased by Pentagon and delivered to Ukraine. That is the picture. There was no Elon Musk just, giving out his Starlinks to the Ukrainian people. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I know. And again, he's a businessman, guys. He's not a I don't know. SpaceX is not a charity fund, okay? This dude is a businessman. He makes money, and because eventually he realized that they're losing money, then he got really, really angry, and probably he's got some, I don't know, Russian friends. Maybe he got like compromised, I don't know, golden rain, whatever Russians have on him. The funniest thing that, war profiteer, that's what we call such people. The funniest thing I've heard from Elon Musk was if people in Ukraine speak Russian, they must be part of Russia, or they want to be part of Russia. I don't think that, English-speaking Americans want to be like part of the UK or like New Zealand or vice versa, because this logic sucks. I have no idea how even he became a successful businessman being that fucking stupid. I'm so angry today for some reason. Building Starlink was mostly federal grants too. Yeah, could be. Have you prayed to Satan today? I really did. Oh, sorry. I really did, together with my Nazi Jewish friends. Gave a shout out, Starsky. Natalka, I don't know how to read the rest of your sentence, but shout out to you. So a former Russian mail order bribe talking about how great it is in Russian villages. It is great if you'd like drink 24/7. Of course it is great, and there's nothing else you can do in the Russian village. Let's go have a bowl of borscht and chill. I would like to have some borscht actually. I'm not the big fan of borscht because after COVID I cannot eat majority of borsches that are prepared that I tasted. I cannot stand the smell, unfortunately. Yeah, but I missed that. Stacy, my grandma is from Ukraine. Say hello to your grandma from Kiev. Oh, this chat app is so cool. Starsky, have you tried flying the FPV drone? Well, no. Actually, long before this invasion happened, I asked my ex-wife whether I could buy an FPV drone. I really wanted to buy something like there was this Xiaomi drone with FPV capabilities, and she said no. Basically, that's why I'm divorced today. Can an American come to Ukraine and volunteer for helping rebuilding villages? Is it pretty easy to get in? I think it's possible. I think you should contact some of the volunteers. They might have some connections, or they can connect you with people that require help. I believe there are also volunteers like rescuers, foreign rescuers volunteering in Ukraine and helping rescuing people, but I've heard about them, but I never met them. But yeah, absolutely, you can help. There's quite a lot of volunteers from all around the world in places like Kherson right now. There's a lot of them. Did you say you cannot stand borscht? Yeah, it's a horrible truth, unfortunately, because there's a lot of things that I cannot eat after I had COVID several years ago. And guys, I'm suffering because I cannot eat things like borscht, boiled eggs that I loved, fried eggs. Sometimes I can, sometimes not really. Які обмеження ви відчуваєте в своїй роботі як військовий кореспондент? Which limits do you feel while working as a combat reporter? Well, the main limit is that sometimes it's really hard to charge my electronic cigarette, okay, in the field. Sometimes it's really, really hard to find like cold Coca-Cola when it's really hot. Besides that, nothing, like not much limits. COVID gave me superpowers to eat spicy food. Well, it gave me superpowers to have like smell hallucinations, because sometimes I can suddenly smell, this like very, very strong and sharp smell of like sewers, and then it goes away. Sometimes like female perfumes. Sometimes like like vodka vomit, like when you vomit after having vodka, like the same smell, and then it disappears again. I had that several times. And I was like, thanks a lot for that. How close do you get to the combat zone? This year I've been basically there, several kilometers away from our front positions. It's really hard to get there alive or uninjured. I love chips, but don't like them anymore after COVID. Yeah, absolutely. I stopped loving, like, I liked beef with onion, and I cannot eat it anymore. Be damned, COVID. Jesus was a carpenter, I am not. Nice. Sewers, are you sure it's not Russia you're smelling? Could be, because no. So this started happening years before Russian invasion. So probably not Russians. I know exactly how Russians smell, especially when they're good. Okay, the improved Russians, and trust me, you don't want to feel that. Borscht is worth to return to it in the end. I agree, more matters, but not until my sense of smell is fixed and I don't know what to do with it. I'm impressed that Ukrainian soldiers save animals when they get the chance, as opposed to the cruelty of Russians. Well, that's like one of the biggest differences between our cultures, because we have this culture. Oh, oh, oh. My son had visual color hallucinations after COVID vaccine. I have spoken with Russian-speaking Ukrainian refugees at work, and they all support Ukraine. Of course, it's obvious, Jonathan. We had, like, again, this very, very popular Russian myth about, Ukrainian Nazi went to Donbass because Donbass was speaking Russian, and they started like eliminating everybody. Of course, they will not show you like any footage of those mass graves that we saw in Bucha, right? Because they only exist in the Russian imagination. But anyways, why don't, like, what makes Donbass special? Why we weren't eliminating Russian-speaking people in Kyiv, Chernihiv, Sumy, Odessa, Mykolaiv, Kherson, Zhytomyr, Poltava, Kharkiv? Why? Why? I mean, we were hating Russians so much. We were killing all the Russian speakers. The funniest fact is that Azov, right? Azov, that according to the Russian degenerates was eliminating, Russian-speaking people of Donbass. Azov was born in Kharkiv, Russian-speaking city of Kharkiv. And majority of guys from Azov, they speak Russian as well. Something that Russians don't want to tell. Yeah, they don't want to talk about. They also don't want to talk about being the allies of Hitler before 1941. All right, guys. When are you gonna give us some new music? This is something that I really wanna cry when I think about it, because I had no time to work on my music these days, these months, unfortunately. But hopefully soon I will have some more free time. Cannot tell you anything in details about this. Sorry. Elon has a degree in douchebag. Top comment. Okay, guys, it's been 1 hour and 22 minutes. Okay, I think it's a good time to say good night. What do you think, Conchita? I think Conchita supports, like, completely supports me. And again, don't forget that Russians may not afraid of things like, precise Western artillery. They just die, they just die, sometimes painfully, sometimes not really, sometimes fast, but they don't, like, they don't care much because their whole life is suffering. But this this is like, this is their nightmare, and I think it's beautiful. All right, guys, my name is Operator Starsky. It was so cool to see you. Thank you so much for staying here with me tonight. Today we were talking about 3 simple facts showing that Russia sucks balls in Ukraine, and we'll see you soon. I will have stream every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. On Friday we will be chilling, just talking about things, about life, sex tunnels, borscht, and things that you can eat and I cannot. Thank you so much for supporting my country. Again, it's very, very important for me, and we will win because we don't afraid to fight for our ideas and for freedom and democracy and our values. See you next time. See you live on Wednesday, and as always, be safe.